Welcome to the Bass and Brews podcast, your weekly distraction from other high-quality podcasts. And now, your host, Alex from Swamp Rat Fishing, and the co-hostess with the mostest, the Jabberhammer, Paul Roberts.
Hello.
Jazz hands.
I like it.
Jazz hands.
Cheer hands. Cheer hands.
There it
down.
is.
Drop it down. Give me two. Give me two.
What's up, everybody? You know the deal. It's Friday. That means it's Bass and Brews, or as a historian would say, it's Babcast time. Tonight, we got both the boys from 603 Bass. And listen, we're going to talk smallmouth. We're going to talk getting rich off fishing because these guys are like multimillionaires. And we're going to cover the whole gamut. But
Hey,
Paul,
Hey,
we were supposed to talk about some problem. What's your fucking problem already 1 minute into it, Paul?
first, the real northern bass guy is definitely rich because he has a wall behind him and looks like tongue and groove flooring from some kind of birch tree with a sign behind him and a professional desk. So I'm pretty sure one of those guys is making more than the other.
You want me to burst your bubble on this? You should have seen what that wall looked like before I sanded it for one. And two, this is my old dining room table.
Oh,
Listen, that's a lot better. Andrew looks like he's recording at his parents' house right now.
This is actually not my parents' house.
hey, that's okay, y'all. Alex put up a purple blanket behind him for like 6 episodes because he thought that shit was cool. And finally, his wife had to come down and tell him to take that shit down.
All right, it wasn't purple, it was blue. And I watched a shit ton of TikToks where it was like, here's how you do a cheap podcast studio. And I spent at least 2 hours trying to make this thing fucking flat. I ironed it, like I had it on there. And as soon as I turned it on, I was like, God, this looks like shit.
But why
And you
did you
kept
leave
it?
it up?
I
For
kept it for like
6
2 episodes. It was 2 episodes.
Hey, you know what? I did the same thing when I used to stream for video games because, like, I'm in the same room. My computer I play at and do everything from is over there. But when this isn't set up, it like this spot is a fucking disaster. And I was like, I got an idea, and I got some like 1.5 square wood, framed up a big rectangle, got like just a dark blue sheet, stretched it tight, ironed it, stapled it together, and I'm like, yeah, it looks good. And then everybody's like, why does it look like you're sitting in a closet?
Yeah.
It's like, because it looks better than what's behind it. Trust me.
Because you're still in there.
Hey.
Hey, Alex was sitting in front of that dark blue, navy blue sheet with like black and navy blue clothes on. So it was like a blue screen. All you could see was his ugly ass face. Hey, so the problem, Alex, is with
Starting
your
off
new camera.
already.
This is the problem we were talking about in the back that I'm going to elaborate on. With your new camera angle, not only does it look like you're not paying attention to our guests and listeners,
Right.
it makes you look way fucking shorter. I mean, you look like you're 4 foot tall right now. You look like a fucking Oompa Loompa with that camera angle.
Listen, after the backlash that I got, and somehow I got a lot of DMs that I was being insensitive to little people after somebody said that I was not deployed
Willow.
for the military, but that I was out recording the new Disney Plus Willow adaptation. But somehow when I made a comment about that, I got labeled as the heightest. Like, this is fucking bullshit at this point.
Well, there ain't nothing in your life ever been about height. I can guarantee you that.
All right,
I
on
like
that happy note, boys, this is 603 Bass. Why don't you guys introduce yourself to our viewers and kind of let them know how you ended up where you guys are at this point?
Well, hold up. Are we going to crack beers opening this show anymore? Or are we just fucking done with that shit?
Well, one
I
got a
don't
rum and
drink.
Coke, one doesn't drink. Do you want to crack
Cheers.
a beer?
Well, mine's already cracked because
pour
I
that
didn't think
heavy.
we were going to do it anyway, but that's
All right,
okay.
so you want to call it out. I'm the only one. I'm drinking Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze
Heyo.
IPA.
How many alcohols that got in it?
I'll drink one of these with you.
7.5. What do you got there? He's got a
I got the
ginger
old,
ale.
Canada Dry.
Yeah.
Oh man, you need to get you some Blenheims. If you ever can find some Blenheims, that's real ginger ale from down here in South Carolina.
I don't fuck with Schweppes. That's it. That's all.
Oh shit, that's our title sponsor.
Yeah.
My bad.
All right,
I'm
anyways,
I'm
boys.
bad. I get all the sweats.
Introduce yourselves to our our degenerate group of anglers and kind of explain how
Alex,
you got here.
you're gonna get this opening. You're gonna get this opening one day, buddy. But y'all go ahead and do what Alex tells you.
Trying to refresh it.
Oh my God, here come with your ideas.
All right, I'll break it down first because I did start it, and then Andrew came on board. Dude, what, 2 years now?
2-3 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been fishing together a lot longer, but channel is 603 Bass for now. It is changing. There's just a lot of back end work that's involved with that, but all the legal stuff is done. But yeah, we're 603 Bass. We're based right here in southern New Hampshire. The quick and dirty explanation for how this came to be is I used to have like a huge gaming channel back in 2012 at its peak, before my best friend and I were like, okay, we're burned out. We can't do this anymore. From 2009 to 2012, we hit like 52,000 subscribers. And it was all just like Battlefield 3 gameplay and stuff. And we just got burned out. But we made some good money from it. We had a lot of fun, met a lot of good friends. And then my buddy bailed on it. I kept it going for like another year and a half, and then I burned out. And right at that same time, like 2014, I had some things happen with my job that I was miserable. My wife was like, you need to do something again besides like fishing on Sundays. So she just bought me a GoPro as a surprise. She's like, just go make some fishing videos. So for like the first 3 years, I was just making like cast to catch videos. And I was like, okay, this is fun, trying to do things a little different. Like I know how to video edit it, but it's like totally different from gameplay versus fishing footage. And at the same time, like that whole time, and Andrew was even with me for the first couple of years that I had that GoPro, we were just like, same thing we do every Sunday. We're always out there to learn. I have done tournaments. We both still do tournaments like here and there. I want to get back into like a full tournament swing. And that's like a part of the reason why I like to just learn all the time, but I continue to just, I don't know, man, it's in my blood. I like to learn and expand on what I know and continuously, like, I just want to go out there and kick the shit out of every lake that I hit, regardless of the time of year or what I'm chasing. Depth doesn't matter. I want to be as well-rounded as I can.
I want to be able to catch fish all year, any situation, any weather, whenever. Just go out. If there's a day we can go fishing, we're going to go fishing. We're going to catch fish.
Yeah. And it got to a point where it was all of a sudden like, okay, we actually know what we're doing all of a sudden. And the videos just started changing from like cast to catch stuff to be like, you know what? There's like no real representation of the Northeast from like that educational perspective. Like there's plenty of entertainment style channels, but there still really isn't anybody out there that's like the tactical bass of the Northeast. And I'm certainly not on their level. We're definitely not, but we're close. We certainly know a lot. And I was like, well, let's just kind of change gears a little bit and go down that road. And it's just been working out. So,
and we weren't afraid to spill the knowledge we have.
No, 95-ish% of what we know, we share. There's the very, very small amount of things that's like, that's too good to give up and we don't know anybody else doing it. So very, very small things like that we keep to ourselves. But other than that, we're just trying to help other people, and apparently they appreciate it. They like how we do it. And we're just two schmucks from New England, man. We're just out there fishing, like take 5 minutes to set up the cameras and we just fish. And then there's like 3 minutes of that trip where I'm like, you know what? I should probably sit down and explain what we're doing. And then it's just back to fishing. And apparently it's a working formula.
So I'm assuming 603 is the area code.
Yep. Correct. When I started the channel, I didn't know what the hell to name it, but I've always had like a ton of pride, for like everything New Hampshire based. And it's kind of like a New Hampshire thing. I'm assuming it's the same in many other states, but New Hampshire residents really have this true, like, if it's Granite State made, then let's like really promote that Granite State aspect. And I feel the same way. So I wanted to continue that. And I'm not really creative in that regards for like thinking of names and stuff. So I was like, well, 603 Bass. I looked it up. Nobody had it. Okay, screw it. That works. And at the time, like I loved it and I still love it. It's kind of the foundation of what we started on. But like 4 or 5 years ago, things really changed with how much we were traveling, different things we were doing, especially like the last 3 years. And we spend just as much time out of New Hampshire as we do in state. It's about 50-50 now. Hence, and then like, I kind of had this epiphany about the name. I'm like, yeah, it's nice, but like this, the original logo is just the state with the fish in it. And if you saw that on the back of a car, would you know what the hell that is?
Right.
Unless somebody told you
Nope.
that there's nothing. It's unique, but it's not identifiable. So it kind of facilitated this whole kind of mind shift, this perspective change on what we were going to do. But yeah, I
Let's-
don't know, anyway.
Can you announce the change yet?
No, not yet, because there's a couple of things I haven't buttoned up yet that we need to, but I can't do it until everything goes in one shot, which is kind of the problem with this, and that's the downside of making a name change this late in the game. You get, so you know how it is, dude. I mean, how many different social media channels do you have, and then like other things that are tied into it and stuff. So it's not just like, oh, okay, go to the YouTube channel and change the name. Like I could do that, but I mean, you're really better off just doing everything in one shot, because there's some things that I suppose somebody could swoop in and take if they want to. I've got it all pretty much buttoned down, but I'm paranoid. So I'm just
it's
like,
really weird. It's one of those things, you know, like everybody tells you advice. I mean, on this show, we love our content creators. We tell people to just go out there, especially in fishing, go out there and create. But that is almost one of those things you really have to think about, because it can be difficult to make that shift in brand names once you start getting that ball rolling, and you kind of have to have that forward thinking. I've talked to a bunch of people who are like, shit, I wish I would have named this something different. But they feel like they're just sallied up to it now and there's nothing they can do.
dude, wait, and you would
You
think
can
I
do
learned my
whatever the hell
lesson.
you want.
But you're right. Like at a certain point, brand recognition becomes important, and we're like towing the line of like, we're still small enough. I should be able to change it. And it shouldn't have any impact on it, and it will. There are undoubtedly going to be people that again have that like hometown pride. They're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what? I thought you were a New Hampshire guy. What the fuck? And it's like, okay, I still live here. I'm literally never going to move until I retire, 40 years from now. And like, what do you want me to do? There's no real beyond New Hampshire. There's no recognition to that. So I want to take this to the next level, and that's what I feel I need to do. You would think I would learn my lesson though. Our gaming channel was called Shoosty Bang, but it was the U with the 2 dots over it. That's supposed to make that U sound.
Okay.
And nobody ever pronounced it right. Nobody knew what the hell it was, what it meant. It was just some stupid thing my friend Chris came up with. We're like, yeah, that's dumb, and I like it. And like 30,000 subscribers later, like, this is the dumbest fucking name. Why do we do this?
Look, probably the only people that pronounce that right is the Southern folks, because SU is always shoe. No matter where you from, down here is Shoosty. Hey, y'all talk about being tournament anglers, and you talked about doing the tournament trail. Are there a lot of tournament trails where y'all are locally,
There
or
are
is this
so many. Like
No
bass fishing up here
shit.
is like
Alex?
Like if you're not out
Mute
hunting,
yourself, Hoss.
I did.
Bless
Am
you.
I not
No, you
muted?
didn't. No.
No, we heard that.
I'm hitting the button. It's
That was
not
a good
muting. Oh shit, my bad.
if you're not
Fucking
out
sound like
hunting
a-
or lowering Volkswagens, you're out fishing. That's pretty much what it is up here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do y'all and so do you travel regionally, or and I'm assuming y'all are fishing mostly out the boat, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything we do is out of my boat. Andrew's going to be in his boat probably sooner than later at this point. He does have a boat.
I do.
He's a lot of work.
I have a half a boat.
Hey, does
like-
it float? Does it float?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If
It takes all
if
water,
it
but it's
Define
all right.
float.
hey, if it floats, it's a boat.
It ain't a boat. It's more like a piece of plywood with a little troll motor on the front of it.
So, look, if it gets you off the bank, then man, that's worth every penny.
That's true.
I
It's
think,
what is it, a 17-foot boat with a 36-volt trolling motor on it? Because the
It's an
outboard's
18
got issues.
It's 18'3" or something like that with a 36-volt Fortrex on it, and the motor needs a starter. And I just don't want to put the money into it.
I mean, why would you need to? Sean's got a boat himself, so
Yeah,
That's true.
It's
Best
true,
boat-
but I like
best
fishing by
boat's your
myself too.
friend's boat.
Yeah, the best
Well,
boat
hey-
is the one you don't own.
Hell yeah, that's for damn sure.
His
That's
is
for
so
damn
nice.
sure.
It's about to get a lot nicer on Friday, too.
I know.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
excited.
Upgrade?
Oh, yeah, I'm finally pulling the trigger on forward-facing sonar. I'm getting an HDS 16 live with active target.
nice.
Yeah, I'm getting a hell of a deal on it from a friend, which is phenomenal. Like
A hell of a deal.
60% of what the cost is.
Wow.
So,
Well,
I mean, I'm
you
pretty
get
sure
to
you
go
got a
right
deal on that
back
way, but-
into the video game realm,
Yeah.
basically, because now
That's
you get to
right.
do like legit video game fishing.
Yeah, we've done really well without it all these years. Like, dude, I don't even know how many times people are like, just reach out to me, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And they're like, hey, man, talk to me about your live scope settings. I'm like, I don't fucking have live scope. Why does everybody keep thinking we have live scope?
No, we don't need it.
No, we haven't yet.
Well, I found out about you guys from, I remember searching around. I just found out about this company, and you guys are aligned with them, and that would be Beast Coast Fishing.
Oh,
I remember I searched out, and you guys were kind of the biggest channel just promoting their product, which is a really solid product.
Well, dude, it's
A
not-
very sleeper product, especially in my area. So, like, how did you guys kind of find them and get to start working with them?
When was it? I think it was 2016 or 2017. I think it was 2017. I went fishing with my. Was it 2017?
pretty sure it was like, yeah, it had to have been.
Yeah, it was the end of the year. I went fishing with my buddy DJ's 3D Fishing on Instagram, and I met him. I forget how. Oh, through Instagram. He was like, "Hey, man, I live actually like not too far. Let's go fishing." So we went out to Connecticut River, and it was like late in the year, and he's like, "This is gonna be the most fun you've ever had. We're just gonna drag drop shots. You're gonna use this thing called Magic Flick." The fuck is that? It's like, it's from Beast Coast. I've never even heard of it. At the time, I thought they were a lot bigger than they were, but they were like, Derek was just getting it off the ground. And we hammered on smallmouth. I was like, damn, that Magic Flick's awesome. So I bought a bunch of those in the spring. They had phenomenal prices on tungsten drop shot weights. And then I found I was like, oh, dude, he's got like really good jigs and all the colors that I want too. So I just started buying all that because New Hampshire did the lead ban. So I was like, oh, well, I might as well get on the tungsten train. And he's got great stuff and he's regional. He's from Connecticut. Like, hell yeah. And then I made a couple of videos talking about the baits, and he reached out. He was like, hey, dude, we're going to be up in New Hampshire. Two of his best friends, the two J's, the Derps, he calls them. The taller Derp, his family lives up in New Hampshire, like 45 minutes from here. And they have access to a kind of a private lake, per se. He was like, we're going to go up for the weekend. You want to come up fish with us? I was like, fuck yeah, I'll go up. And we just hung out for the whole day, hammered a bunch of smallies, and then he reached out the next day. He's like, dude, we want you on the team. You're awesome. I was like, okay. And I've been with them ever since, and I wouldn't be with them. I mean, I've dropped other companies recently just because, like, up front sounded like a great deal, and I did believe in the quality of the product until it changed. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to support this because I don't need to. But Beast Coast, dude, that guy Derek is fucking phenomenal. He's got his head on straight.
He knows how to make some jigs.
Oh yeah,
fish jigs like if we go out fishing, we're gonna have at least 2 jigs tied on, and
ice out to ice in.
They just work. And having his jigs, they're absolutely phenomenal product, and we've put a lot of big fish on the boat because of them.
I think they're I fell in love with their Gorilla Swim jig. That's one of the, I think it was not last year, obviously, because I was gone. Shit, almost 3 years ago. I basically only brought like 2 baits with me, and one of them being a swim jig. And 9 times out of 10, it was that Gorilla Swim jig, and just trying to like learn the nuances of learning that bait, because I haven't been bass fishing forever. So like I love their swim jigs. Their swim jigs are so solid. And almost because of you guys, because you guys do fish their fucking jigs all the time. Every video I see, you got one tied on, and it makes me fucking jelly as hell. So like I started this challenge of sorts. I hate when anybody does like a challenge on YouTube, because it's normally some stupid like, I'm gonna catch a fish with a Cheeto or some dumb shit like that.
Yeah,
Okay, top water, cool.
Right, yeah. So this winter, like I've never caught a fish on a bottom jig ever. I've caught them on swim jigs, never on a bottom jig. I've also never had them tied on, really. This whole winter, I'm in South Jersey. I'm only bringing 4 jigs with me. And what's funny is 3 of the 4 are Beast Coast, basically. Like that's all I'm going to fish this whole fucking winter, and hopefully I can catch one. But some of that's your guys' fault, because I love, like, you guys hammer them.
Welcome.
Right? Yeah, I mean, one says you're welcome, one says sorry. Like normally, like I'm a worm fisherman. Like I'm not a tournament guy. That's Paul's deal. That's not my deal. I go out to kayak fish to have fun and shoot videos. That's kind of my thing. But
dumbest fishing ever, fun fishing.
So, but yeah, and I mean the jigs are great. Hustler jig's amazing. That's what I have. I have like Hustler jig, and
I'm a hustler, baby.
and the little Magnum are kind of like lined up right now. I went out all 2 days ago. I went out Sunday. I went out, and I almost got like I think I got my first jig bite and I fucking missed it and then sent that hustler jig screaming at my face at record speed.
Well, hey,
Yeah,
I'm
I've done
proud of you. I'm proud of you. You tied a good enough
Fuck you,
knot.
Paul.
didn't
Fuck
cast
you,
that
Paul.
bitch
Don't
off.
even do it. Fuck you, Paul. Fuck you, Paul. I didn't lose any of the jigs. Fuck you.
He finally quit tying granny knots on his jigs and quit throwing them off.
I tied out with the granny once.
Yeah, I know that story.
You want to divulge on that one?
Let's talk about your granny experience.
It's an old one. I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, we know she's a granny.
Well, she was an old one. Hey, let's back up.
I
for a
just made
second.
that up, but actually at the same time I may not have. I don't really know.
No. You told me the story. You didn't make that up.
Which one was it? I don't remember. Ashley made one.
Alley right next to famous local landmark.
We need this story. Tell us about the granny. Come on.
Behind the
I don't
pasta
remember.
loft.
Oh shit.
I was 21. I just got back from the Navy. I was very drunk. One thing led to another.
And out
How
behind
old
the
was she,
pasta
do you
loft.
think?
Huh?
How old do you think she was?
Oh,
Right now, she's probably retirement age.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She had a
I
good
can't-
30 years on me.
I can't wait for her to listen to this podcast and tag you on the social medias.
She's gonna see it and be like, I remember that guy. Oh my god.
Well, let's back up a minute to y'all's. How did y'all come together to be partners and to fish and to create content and do what you're doing now? How did that happen?
So we had a skate park in town. He was a biker, I was a skateboarder, and we were always around. And our buddy Josh, a mutual friend, I was hanging out with him a lot at the time, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come fishing with us?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I do." So Sean had a boat, or had his dad's boat, his Ranger at the time, and the first day I went with them, they put me on a good jig bite, and I was just like, okay, all right, cool, all right, sweet, let's do this, let's keep doing this. And then what happened? Josh kind of fell out of it. I think he got burnt out, and then me and you just started fishing a lot together.
Yeah, he
And
had. I'll just leave it as personal issues with previous female. And
Oh
the
yeah,
combination
yeah,
of that, because that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Anybody going through that would suck.
Hmm.
So like just that and the entire fallout of that. And I mean, dude, at the time that was before I had kids, so we were literally fishing 3 to 5 days a week. Every opportunity. 'Cause that was like peak learning mode for me. So I'm like literally texting him every day and be like, "Hey, dude, I just learned about this thing called a shaky head. Let's go out and fucking hammer him on it." And we did that for like 2 straight weeks. I'm like, hell yeah, we fished it 10 times in the last 2 weeks, and I got that bite down. Okay, have you heard about a Carolina rig? Let's go try that. And like that was for like 3 years. That's all I did. But anyway, sorry, I digress.
So
Don't apologize for answering the question. Jeez, what the?
Well,
fuck's
sometimes
wrong
I go
with
over
you?
the top and overdo it. You'll find out I'm going to do that a lot.
This is Bass and Brews. There's nothing over the top. I can promise you.
I mean,
That's
there is. I think at this point, me and Andrew are going to have a side conversation, and we'll let the color commentary on the left-hand side of the screen take over.
Well, it does sound like Andrew is the short one in this relationship. So yeah, y'all should fit very well.
Yes,
I'm
he
like,
is.
I'm like, you're tall. Fuck off.
Oh look, when you're
I-
5'3" like Alex, everybody's tall.
I'm not 5'3", fuck off. But also, I feel like you said it enough, Paul. Just like you, I'm addicted to the TikTok, and I keep getting the same fucking ad, and it's like, yo, short kings, we're gonna celebrate you. And I'm like, bitch, I'm not that fucking short. Like, where are you hearing this? And I can't figure out if it's from Paul calling me short or if my wife is quietly whispering into my phone like, this short motherfucker. But the whole commercial about it was for clothes that fit short people better, and then shoes with platforms.
That's okay. I get those. What's that new T-shirt for dad bods?
Oh,
I get
That guy shirt, yeah.
Yeah, I get the fucking fat guy shirt all the time. So tit
Yeah,
for
me
tat,
too.
tit for tat.
Everyone here is shopping at Lane Bryant but me.
yeah.
Whoa. I ain't fat. Get out of here. I've had to keep this body slender from years
Yeah.
at sea trying to attract other men. So
Give him 6 more months, he's gonna look like a fucking bowling ball.
I've been
short and round.
telling him, Mandy, like I'm gonna get so fat now that I don't have weight standards.
Start coming over measuring your neck for you.
Yeah.
So back to y'all's story. So y'all got together out of just a group of friends going and fishing and learning. One of the friends had some stuff and he had to fall out, and then y'all are here now doing this. Or are y'all fishing partners in tournaments? Do how does the partnership work for the content creation side and the tournament side?
We're just friends that like to fish together and film together.
Pretty much. We live like a mile away from each other.
Literally. If I screamed as loud as I could, he might be able to hear me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was just Josh had a falling out, and I was like, I mean, Andrew was coming with us pretty often the last year, and just kept texting him like, I'm going fishing Sunday. You want to go? He's like, hell yeah. It just became like an every Sunday thing. Because that's the only day of the week I get to fish, like the vast majority of the time. My wife works evenings. She works most of Saturdays. We got 2 young kids, 10 and 5 years old. So that was like always the agreement when we got married. After we had kids, like as long as I get Sunday, I don't give a shit. I'll make everything else work. But I need one day a week, or I'm gonna kill somebody if I can't be out in my boat.
I'm gonna be a miserable human being if I can't go fish on Sundays. Just putting that out there now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. If I don't go fishing for 2 weeks, I'm a biggest asshole you've ever met.
It had been like 3 weeks, and I went out on Sunday, and we partied the night before with some friends. So the kids were at the granny nannies, as we like to call them. Shout out Dave and Marie for watching our hellions. But that morning I got up, and my wife had to go to work on Sunday, and she was like, "Are you still going to go fishing?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I am." And then I looked at the temperature, and it was like 27 degrees.
It's fine.
And I was like, yeah, I'll be all right. Like, it's a tidal river, so it's not going to be iced over. I mean, I got a couple bites, but I didn't get anything else. But it was just nice to be out on the water, away from all of it.
Sounds like the worst fucking time ever to me.
Fuck you, Paul. Paul fishes.
No.
Paul fishes to be in the bottom 10% of his kayak tournament trail.
That's right. It don't matter though. I'm out there competing, like just being out there and enjoying being on the water and
hold
shit.
on.
No.
Also, he keeps talking about competing. Just so you boys know, Paul always talks about this competitive edge that he has and this and that.
Not an edge, drive.
A competitive drive. And he got it. And I'm going to look right into the camera. He got it because he talks all this shit about how he played college football, but he was the fucking punter. So I don't know. I mean, if that fucking tells you anything.
No. I wasn't even the punter. I was just a punter.
I didn't know that part. You weren't even the starting punter?
I started one game.
It's participation points. It's all good.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I was on a college field. That's all that mattered. Alex was too short to play sports, so he tried to skateboard, but that didn't work out either.
Andrew will side with me. You're right. You went to college. I was defending your freedom. Do we need to do this again, Paul? I joined the military.
Yeah, we took the easy way out.
I don't know if that was the easy way out. No, you might be selling yourself short there. Well, tell us this.
Tell me.
No. He's right. He's right.
You should be listening to them people. What is the journey that got y'all into fishing though? Individually, did you just start fishing here in the last 10 years, or was this something you grew up with? Because I'm from the Carolinas, born and raised South Carolina, live in North Carolina now. Fishing is a way of life for so many people, at least my age. When I think of New Hampshire, I don't think of people growing up fishing in New Hampshire. So what is that journey?
I got my first fishing rod even before I was out of my mom.
Yep. Same here.
I was born.
That's badass.
The day that I was born, when I was pushed out, my grandfather showed up to the delivery room with a fishing pole with M&Ms on the hook.
Holy shit. That is fucking phenomenal.
He was an original Guggen Squad. He already had like the gimmick lures ready to go.
So y'all grew up bass fishing for anything. Y'all grew up just out there wetting the hook, catching whatever bit.
I started out trout because that's what my grandfather had me doing. He would bring me out pretty much every Sunday-ish. Sometime on the weekend, he would bring me out almost every weekend. And if I had time off during the week, like during the summer or whatever, he'd bring me out. Or I'd be on my bike, riding my bike down to the river or down to small ponds and just seeing what I could catch.
Yeah, I'm not too different. I mean, I've been in a boat since before I could walk and talk. My dad, I call him Uncle Billy. He's my dad's best friend. And they started fishing like, I think 3 years before I was born. And my grandfather, my dad's father, had done a lot of fishing in his time too when he was younger. And my dad was like, I'm not, like, he was infatuated with it, like I am, but not to the level of like always learning, just for the escape that it provided, in the sense of escaping, not the family or anything, just getting outside and being near nobody. So when I was born, he was like, well, hopefully he'll take to it. You know, those like little kind of walk around baby bouncer things you give your kids, like you sit in the seat, it's a little bouncy, but it's like a big wide platform with the wheels so they can scoot around. They took that and they had a 14-foot John boat. And there was, room in between like the raised sections that the seats were mounted to. That thing fit in there perfect. So they keep going fishing. They'd take me out, plop me down in the middle of those two high-rise parts, and throw a bug net over me during the summer. And I've been in a boat every year my entire life. And I stayed with it. Every time my dad went out on the weekend as I got older, he's like, you want to go? And there's some windows where I didn't always go. Like Andrew said, we met at the skate park because I got big into freestyle BMX. He was into skateboarding, but I was always going. I did a couple of tournaments with my dad when I was a little kid, but it wasn't until, I'm 37 now. I was like 22, and I forget. There was something with the weather. I can't remember specifically. It was probably just another drought, which we have often enough here in the Northeast, and it was just a terrible year. My dad's always just been a Texas rig, beat the bank angler. And we went out there, and I could remember seeing like 3 or 4 boats around us, which was pretty busy for the small pond, and they were fishing in the middle, and they were fucking catching fish left and right. And I'm like, why don't we go out there? My dad's like, no, they're always on the bank. We got our shit pushed in for fucking 3 weeks. And I'm like, fuck this. I can't do this anymore. Like, I desire to learn. So I just started taking the boat out myself when my dad wasn't around, and I was like, okay, what can I learn? I started with crankbaits, and it exploded from there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of you guys' stuff, you are fishing. I mean, you guys fish shallow, but I think, like, when I think of you guys' channel, I do think of, like, smallmouth offshore. That's kind of I don't know.
It ain't always smallmouth offshore.
What's that?
It ain't always smallmouth offshore.
Right, that's true. But, I mean, that's like a whole mystery to me. I'm like your dad. I'm the idiot that will continue to pound shallow cover when it's full of ice and there's, like, a car seat there. I love a car seat pattern. That's like one of my favorite patterns.
That's the Jersey pattern, the Jersey car seat pattern.
Listen,
smells too.
Listen, it's a money pattern. If you can just get it just right, you're right. It does smell because you have to kind of aim either down or upstream from the diaper that's lodged in the car seat. But once you figure that out, it's money. You'll catch them all day.
Never mind.
I was waiting for Paul to do a solid transition in there. And
I saw Andrew. No, I saw Andrew's wheels turning. I thought he was going to say something.
They do that a lot. Trust me. They just start going and they go.
But hey,
and then they go reverse.
but hold up, Andrew. On Bass and Brews, you don't have brakes. Them bitches is gone. That line's been cut. Your brake fluid's gone. There's no urine.
No, that's the 13 concussions.
Oh yeah, look, them concussions now, they something else. But you can say it on Bass and Brews. I mean, if you want to talk shit about Alex, go ahead. And if you won't, you text me and I'll say it.
All right. Well, with you guys being from the Northeast, this is something I'll do the transition for Paul. So this is something that I feel like I've had a struggle with, especially with putting videos out. Do you guys have any? All right. So I want to know your thoughts and if you have any issues or have had any issues with spot burning.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Okay.
because
Like us burning spots or other people, our spots getting burned.
You guys, so like I put out videos and I've specifically had people reach out to me and be like, you're blowing up this spot that nobody knows about.
Well, apparently
My
somebody
normal
knows about
response is, 50 people watched my video. Go fuck yourself. Nobody knows that spot. Settle down.
There's one spot,
Yeah.
and Andrew knows what I'm talking about, and I'm not even going to remotely say where it is. There is one spot. Nobody, not once, has reached out to me in all these years we do it. And I'm the one that kind of manages all the social media stuff. So I read literally everything people send me. And I've got so many people that ask, and I never tell them where we are. Only our closest friends know. And even some of our closest friends don't know every spot, because some of the spots we have, I mean, even going back to like 25 years in one case, someone gave it to me. And I'm going to respect that and not share it.
Mm-hmm.
And they get the video aspect of the thing. But, it's fucking every kettle pond in New Hampshire looks the same. Like, it doesn't matter. There's very rarely like a defining landmark.
There's a couple rocks on every shore. There's down trees on every shore, and there's pine trees fucking everywhere. So good luck trying to find it.
Dude, Southern New Hampshire to the fucking Pittsburgh, it doesn't matter. It all looks the same. So it's like they don't care to make videos there or whatever. But there's one spot in particular. Still, nobody's talked to me directly, so I don't know how true this is. But the person I heard it from, I wholeheartedly believe. He's a wicked nice friend. He told me, I was like, I'm a little concerned because I'm starting to see the uptick in activity here. Maybe we're responsible. And he was like, I don't think so. I'm just as guilty because he's got a wrap on his boat and he's active on social media. And he was like, it could just be me too. I mean, like, people can very easily tell when I'm here. You still not so much. You're like not that easily definable out in the water. You can't miss him by a fucking mile. Right. But he did admit, he was like, I've had a couple of locals like talk to me and say, fuck you guys for blowing up our spot. You know what? I say the same thing to them every time. And we don't tell people where we are other than the fucking state. With rare exceptions, like Winnipesaukee, Candlewood,
Champlain. Nobody knows those, yeah.
Dude, we're 50. Well, I think Winnipesaukee is the smallest out of all those at 42,000 acres. Fucking good luck, man. If you can find the spot, I don't give a shit. There's 10,000 more of them on that lake anyways. It doesn't matter. Same with Champlain. It's 250,000 acres. It's like 97 miles long. Even if you can find the spot, great. And if not, there's literally thousands of other spots just like that. So whatever, have at it. Everything else, we don't talk about it. What I've found is the only people that blow up those spots are the people that see it, recognize where it is because they've been there, and then they go open their fucking mouth to other people. Can you believe those fucking assholes fishing our spot? And, Joe, those fuck 603 bass were fishing our favorite lake. Jimmy! And they keep going, and it's like, that's not my fucking fault. You guys couldn't shut the fuck up to each other.
Dude, that's my favorite. I had a guy, I was the local river that I fish at all the time, and I'm the only kayak fisherman there. So it's somewhat noticeable because there's maybe like 2 bass boats that fish this area and me. And some random dude, he showed up with a raft boat from a local deli, which I thought was really funny. So I was like, wow, when the fuck are delis just giving out sponsorships? And
hey, Alex, why don't you write that deli down and go holler at him? I mean,
yeah, no
come
shit,
on now.
Right? But he shows
we
up.
are the Sandwich Podcast.
He starts telling me, he's like, yeah, I've never really been here before. But some guys were talking about that they seen some other dude, and this fucking asshole, I guess, is blowing up the spot. He catches big fish all the time, and he's fucking rambling about it. And the whole time he's talking about me, and he doesn't realize that he's talking to me about me because he's a fucking idiot. And he just rolls the whole way through, and then he's just like, yeah, so what are you doing back here? And I'm like, oh, I'm here for the bluegill fishing. I heard it's a monster fishery for bluegills.
It's out of this world.
And he's just like, yeah, YouTube's full of shit. All these guys lie. He probably didn't catch him here. And he went on his way. And I proceeded to put a pretty decent bag that day after I boldly lied to him. But
you're out fishing him on his own honey hole.
Fucking spot on, bud. That's half of it. That's the majority of it, actually. Probably.
I think there is, because I have had a guy who he hit me at the ramp, and he like not physically, like he actually came up to me like a man, like it was like, listen, dude, you should not be recording or posting anything. And I was like, well, here's the thing, I don't name where I'm at ever.
I bought this camera. I'm going to use it.
Right. And he was just like, well, you're diminishing the bass population back here. And I was like, how the rewind it back, and he goes, well, when
Take
I
that
was
as
a
a
kid,
compliment.
I would catch 5-pounders all the time, and I haven't caught a 2-pounder in years, but I go on your videos, and you stuck a almost 7-pounder back here. And I go, okay, well, that's not my fault. That's your fault.
Hey, y'all need
Be
to
better.
start. You need to start carrying the permit in your pocket.
What's that?
It's like, you know, when somebody says some bullshit like that to you, and you pull out,
Pull out your
I
fishing
got
license.
a permit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Believe it
no,
or
no.
not, this fucking thing tells
Yeah.
me you can go fuck
I got a
yourself.
permit. And I'm like, a permit? What kind of permit? You open it up, and you show it to him, and say, I do what the fuck I want. Permit.
You see this boat registration? Yeah, it pays for your fucking launch that you guys launch off.
Right?
I just think it's really weird. Like we've talked to some guests in some other places, and usually the spot burning thing isn't a big deal. But anytime we get the pleasure of talking to somebody from the Northeast, it's usually a hotter issue.
It
It's like
pretty
the
much
Northeast
is.
is fiery as fuck about their fishing spots.
Everything is up here is fiery. Everyone is always. It gets cold. They get pissed off. Fuck them.
Yeah. And so, like, to your point earlier, where you were guys like, we're like, you know, when you think of the Northeast, you don't think of like bass fishing per se. It's crazy how big it is all over New England. Like New Hampshire alone, I forget the exact number of lakes, but New Hampshire Fish and Game has on record 640 something public access points.
Wow.
So there's a shit ton of different bodies of water in New Hampshire. Now, not all of them are great, you know, and I'm assuming that's kind of the same everywhere. But when you have that density of bodies of water, and maybe like 1 out of every 10 to 15 has like good quality and in quantity that you can go out there and, like, you know, you've got your honey hole you can rely on. Like, dude, I know if I go out here, like 1 out of every 3 trips, I'm going to stick a couple of giants. Like, that's a great quality body of water that you can rely on. But they're a little bit harder to find. And a lot of fucking people are lazy pieces of shit. And they don't want to put in the time and effort for the water. And that's totally different from
That's
someone
that's why they get pissed at you, because you lie about your spots on FishBrain.
Yeah, you're right, though.
Fish brain.
But it's like most people don't want to put in the time to discover, like, what a good body of water from the other one. And, like, that's way fucking harder than learning any technique. And there's nothing wrong with anybody going out there and learning techniques and stuff, and however you consume that through any form of social media or articles or whatever. Like, dude, that's how you got to learn. But then trying to find good bodies of water, like, you just got to put the time in, unless you're one of those bent pole pattern anglers that just goes out there and waits to see what other people are doing, and then you jump on it, which we're starting to see an increase in that around our area, both in New Hampshire, Vermont.
In the middle of tournaments.
In the middle of tournaments, that fucking asshole.
I feel like that's the right time to do it.
Tell us about this asshole. What happened with this tournament?
You want to do it, or you want me to do it?
We were both fishing. Us and another buddy were fishing a spot during the tournament, and this dude just popped right in the middle of us, right on top of where we were casting, dropped straight down, caught 3 fish, and then dipped.
Yeah, but
It's like, come on, dude. Like,
I mean,
the worst
he
part
had-
was we were there
Listen,
for
he
hours.
had a license.
So it was our buddy DJ and Alex. There's 3 boats, so 6 of us total, and 1 guy lives up close to this spot. So he didn't stay with us, but, you know, the other 5 of us are staying at Airbnb. And the night before, we all talked. We're like, all right, what's the game plan? Because it's not that big of a tournament, and, like, there's just cash at the end. Like, we don't give a shit. As long as one of the 3 of us does well, like, we're stoked. I don't give a fuck. Like, our buddy DJ ended up finishing. DJ and Alex finished, I think, 3rd on the weekend.
or 3rd or 4th.
I think it was 3rd. They made a good paycheck. But anyway, so, like, the night before we were talking, it was more about to understand, like, okay, what's your plan A, B, and C? So depending on boat number, like, I know what spots just you're going to be there. And we don't need to be on top of each other on these bodies of water. There's plenty of great spots. I have my preferences, but all my backup plans are fine. And this was a spot that our buddy DJ and Alex were like, that's our go-to. And they drew an early number. They went out there. They were there for hours. And we were doing pretty good. We needed a couple of key calls. We pulled up on this spot, and we're like, how's it going? They're like, yeah, good. And there's like 2 separate rock piles, and there's this like little trough right between them. So they're close, but it's essentially 2 spots that are like separated by 20 feet. And they're like, park out there, fish the further rock pile, and we'll stay on this one. We're like, sweet. And then that guy, like Andrew said, pulled up between us, parked literally right on top of the rock piles. Like, we're like max, not quite max casting distance. We're like maybe 200 feet away from each other. Just perfect to beat the piss out of those and not blow up the spots from being on top of them. Dude rolls right in, drops down, plucks 3 fish, and bails. It was the audacity of what he said after that made him an asshole. And in all fairness, he's been very nice ever since. But at the time, he was a fucking asshole because he posted, and I quote almost word for word, he's like, yeah, day 2 was great. You know, it was pretty awesome coming in with a bag that big, pulling up on a spot that nobody else was catching fish from and pulling fish up right in front of him and making a great day of it.
Oh,
And I remember reading that, and I was like, the audacity of this motherfucker.
I got a 5 fish bag right here.
My whole
It is
thing
what it
is
is. Water
my
under
whole
the
thing
bridge.
is nowadays with fishing in general, from a social media standpoint, from a tournament standpoint, from just watching somebody catch fish out there farting around on the weekend, and you go over there. A spot is a spot, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to catch those fish in that spot, because
100%.
there are particular ways, techniques to be able to catch those fish. And I've got a few buddies at the lake that we fish a lot here. They can go catch fish at a spot, and I go there and do the same thing and try my hardest, and just can't get it. I can't get it right, and they can. So I mean, sure, there are spots, but you think about it, a lot of spots now are community holes. They're not
Almost every single
secret.
one of them is.
Yeah.
They're in with the technology we have for facing sonar and the side imaging and down imaging and shit. You can find shit nowadays super easy. I mean, topographic maps. You can say, damn, that looks good as hell. And you show up out there Saturday morning and start fishing it, and you get that guy comes up and like, how'd you know about this? And, well, I just fucking looked at a map. I mean, shit, I don't know. I'm just here fishing. But you think about it, there's 7 days in a week. There's 24 hours in a day. How many people are fishing that spot that you never ever see because you're not out there at the same time?
Right.
So the spot burning stuff to me it gets to be overblown with these folks, because one, you still have to catch the fish, and two, there's people fishing your spots the days that you aren't out there. And you just don't know about it.
You don't own the water. You don't own anything.
Mm-hmm.
You own the boat you're on. That's about it.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just, to me, it gets to be an overblown thing. I mean, sure, tournament time comes around and you get there first and somebody wiggles their way in. Probably some words can get thrown in, but in general, just out there fishing and having a spot. I mean, there ain't too many secrets left anymore. Not many. There's some. They're still out there, but there ain't many. No,
and really at this point, the only real secrets left to be found is through time on the water. Anybody can go out there with side imaging and make a 360 forward-facing sonar and break down literally everything that lake has to offer. But, doesn't mean anything if you haven't put the time in on the water to understand what any of that information means.
That's right, to catch them.
Yeah, and that just takes time and commitment and a willingness to explore different avenues of what you can throw at them and how you do it and your cadence. Like, it is. There's a million different ways, and more often than not, like a ton of different variables that goes into it to understanding. Well, first discovering what makes a good spot, discovering a good spot, and then secondary to that, what makes that spot good in general too. And with that understanding, then you can understand even further, like, okay, well, now I know when I can rely on this and when I can't, because this rarely is a spot automatic all year. You know what I mean? There's windows throughout the year. So the whole spot burning thing is kind of weird.
There is one lake that I know that one spot always holds at least one giant fish, and you just caught a 6.2 out of it.
Yeah.
Where's what's the GPS on that spot?
6.44.
I'll bleep it out. Don't worry, I'll bleep it out.
And 527 and 636 and 604.
How was that fish only 6 pounds? Because looking at it,
dude,
it looked.
It was probably 19 inches long.
Yep.
It had to be an Alex fish, really short. Yeah, exactly. because it was fat. It had that fall feed. It had that fall feed on. It was a fat fish.
Dude, it's funny because I have 3 6-pounders I've caught in my life that had no fucking business being over 6 pounds. It's only because they had just eaten a bait fish. Like my previous PB at 6 1/4 that had stood from 2009 until I broke it again in 2020 with a 7 pound 5 ouncer. That was maybe 5 pounds, but I could see it. Like, it had a big tail sticking out of its throat, and the stomach is all lumpy and misshapen. I just got lucky. And then I've caught another one. I forget the hell that one was or when that was, but same deal. Like, it was all lumpy and deformed, and I was like, okay, well, that's got a bait fish freshly down in there too, but whatever, it's still 6. And then that one, there's no way that thing didn't either just eat like a handful of little bluegill or perch or something, or just swallowed something big all in one shot, and we didn't see the tail. But it didn't catch another 6.
Listen, in light of what happened with the walleye fishermen and the last 2 episodes of Bass and Brews where we give out man, what's the word? Not awful advice.
Shitty advice.
Advice. But listen, I don't know if anywhere in any rule book it says, I know it says you can't put weights, but does it say you can't put bait fish down a fish's throat?
Yes, you cannot alter the damn fish, Alex. God,
I'm not. So what I do is I take my live well and I put a shit ton of goldfish, and that motherfucker's gonna eat them, right? And just because those goldfish might have sinkers in their belly, that's not my
I caught him
fault.
first thing in the morning. I felt bad. He was gonna miss lunch. I don't know.
Listen, so
you're like
again,
the lobster guys on TikTok that when they catch the lobsters that are too big to keep, they give them a fish and throw them back in the water.
Exactly. So I'm saying, so if you guys want to go out there starting next spring, you guys hit that local tournament, do the old Babcast move, and that's you fill your goldfish full of sinkers and feed said goldfish to your bass, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, nobody listen to Alex. You know what?
No, I like this.
You can't. Yeah. This is terrible. This is terrible advice. We're gonna be on the news. I learned this from. All right. So the social media side, the content creation.
All publicity is good publicity.
That is true, but your advice fucking sucks. So the social media content side of it, producing the social media, do y'all go out every trip with the intent of creating content?
Well, yes, but nothing specific. Because New England is so volatile.
It's a day-to-day thing.
It
An
really
hour-to-hour
is.
thing. You have no idea what the hell's going to happen.
It's funny. We were talking about this all year because this was like the first year in many years where we had like something consistent. Like that jig bite usually comes and goes. You get like a good window where it's either like the thing or a major part of what they want for the day. And then, you get like swim jig bite or spinnerbait bite, jackhammer bite, whatever, jerk bait bite, square bills, and then it comes back around and the jig's on fire again for a week or two, and then it's Texas rig and so on and so forth. This is the first year in I don't know how long where it's like, holy shit, that jig bite just never died. Like from the moment it picked up for like the next 5 months, it just never died. So this was like the first year where it was kind of like, okay, now we can really kind of like plan at least our approach, but there's rarely ever a plan for actual content. And like I can tell you exactly 3 videos where it was like, I have an idea for what I want to do. And it was the Bass Fishing Quick Tips series. We did one on the Damiki rig, we did one on blade baits, and then one on ice out fishing. And then there's a couple other ones, but like actually no, I take that back. Only 2 of those we actually did in the boat. The other one we did here against this wall. So like we just that's a really long answer, but no, because again, it's so volatile. It's so like damn near impossible to plan it out. Like we even go out like, fuck the videos. We're just trying to figure out what we want to do tomorrow and what we hope is going to be. And I'll spend 2 hours retying all my shit the night before and get out there. And I always end up guessing wrong anyway for the first 20 minutes. I fucking retie everything again anyway.
I think it's funny you mention all that, Sean, and you coming from the gaming sphere too, right? So you hear all this like this advice on how to get good at YouTube, social media, blah, blah, blah. And they're always like, plan their videos out. That does not work in the outdoor realm, especially the fishing realm, right? Like we can't plan on whether this animal is going to participate or not. Otherwise, we'd all be really fucking good at this.
Right. And
like
then
if we could just go down there and say, hey, I'm trying to film a fucking video where I got
Do you mind eating this?
right.
Right, exactly. Like, don't worry, you eat it. I've got goldfish full of sinkers that I'll feed right back to you.
Right. And then that's like, that's the thing I've always wanted to be able to do was like fucking anybody can go out there and pick any topic and sit on their boat and just talk about it. And you can tell when somebody knows their shit and when somebody's like clearly just trying to stretch the limits of the limited knowledge that they have. Like, as you become more knowledgeable through all the experience that you have and you really understand all the nuances of something, you can fucking tell when somebody doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Wait, what'd you
Alex
say?
And I, Alex,
What'd you say about a
Alex and I-
psycho?
Alex and I were talking about something like that a little bit earlier today.
There's like to be completely honest, and I put a TikTok out earlier this week, right? And the TikTok was Theo Vaughn, and he has that cut where he's like, listen, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Never have. I never will. And then I cut to whatever. But like, we have a lot of tournament guys on. That is not my realm. I've only been bass fishing since 2016. What I do have is a love for the sport, but I will never, when I look right into you, camera, I will never tell you I'm a fucking expert because I'm fucking not.
Well,
You know
should
what I'm
start,
an
'cause
expert
I
at?
do.
I'm an expert at drinking beer and talking shit. That's the level I can give you, and hopefully get other people on this show to be the experts. Because I mean, Paul Bertens, but he wasn't even a starting kicker.
Bench warmer.
He wasn't even.
But
a
he did
starting
start one game.
punter. He wasn't even a
The
starting
Al
punter.
Bundy
He
of
started
punters.
one game. So like, we're not it. What we do
You say
is
Al
we
Bundy.
bring people on who know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. And we do the same thing. And that's the thing we've always said is like, yeah, we know a lot about a lot, but with the exception of like maybe jigs, like I wouldn't consider us like absolute experts on anything. There's plenty of other people that know way more fucking than we do.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of things. But we've been clear about that since day one. But we have found a way to be able to communicate the extent of our knowledge and
Yes.
the extent of our knowledge. Like, you know, we know a lot about this area of this, but it fucking clearly stops here. Okay. Anything beyond that, there's
That's
a
why
little bit of
we bring in
guesswork here.
That's that's the disconnect that you'll see on the social media world of people sharing techniques and tips and stuff like that. Is you can tell when somebody is talking about something that they just watched a video on. You can tell when the practice that they put into it isn't there. They hadn't actually done it to a point to be able to talk about it. You only know what you know, and the people that articulate that, look, this is what I do and this is what I know, is different from somebody going out there and talking about some shit that they just watched a few videos on. They went out to their golf cart pond and did whatever. I mean, that's the whole thing with sharing information in the educational side of fishing, right? Is you have a lot of people trying to share educational information that a lot of people can't tell that they really don't know what they're talking about. They're
Right.
regurgitating information versus the people that do know what they're talking about, which is someone that you can actually believe and trust in and what they're doing. And, learning is learning. Take it for what it is. But I like to go to the people that I know have done it and they're coming from experience and have been out there and in it, not just somebody regurgitating some more information.
What's that guy's name? Kenny. I was just looking at. Was it Kenny Blockett? Is that his name?
Oh,
Powers.
Kenny Powers.
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've watched one video from him. And I've heard
Randy
about it.
Blockett.
Randy
Randy
Blockett.
Blockett.
Yeah. Randy Blockett.
That's a dude Oliver was talking shit about.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows a lot, right? He knows a lot.
He was a professional
but
angler.
He gets like 6,000 to 7,000 views on a video as he's in his car rambling about how people shouldn't fucking celebrate during fishing, right? But it's because he's so established and he does know what he's talking about when it comes to some things, right? That this dude has zero production value, no on the water. It's literally him in like his garage or him in his car waiting to pick up his kid from kindergarten and tens of thousands of views. It's insane.
I have no idea who this guy is. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Look at Randy Blockett. It's interesting. Here's what he does. So he's a professional angler who had a good career in the 90s, late 80s and in the 90s. And so fished, it was the top 150. It wasn't the elite sim, but he had a good career when it comes down to bass fishing. But what he's done with his channel is the channel started off as tips and techniques. And it's really valuable. I mean, you get a lot of information from somebody that fished at the highest level of bass fishing competition there was. But he also is a fucking wizard at creating content, because he creates this educational side of it, but he also creates the shit that brews diarrhea storms. I mean, yes, he the tips and tricks are great, but he creates that controversy, and he's, you know, he's an older guy. He's got to be in his mid-50s. He is really, really good at creating controversy and getting people to his page to watch his 10 to 12 minute videos of him either teaching you something or rambling about fucking forward-facing sonar and how it's going to make fishing, you know.
He did that. He got famous
left
for that like a year ago, right? But I will say, you guys should check out. He just did one about like some people. I think it was today. I watched it today, but I think it did come out today. It was some people shouldn't catch fish. I was like, what the fuck is this? So I pulled it up.
That's that kind of
I kind of like
title that like I want to watch it, but I'm like, I can't because Tim.
No, it was a full old man rant where he's like, listen, somebody that takes the fish, and when they have the jig in it, they go like that to push the jig out. It's disrespectful to the fish. They should never get to catch one. I was like,
I've been slapped in the face by a fish, so I slap him right back.
I know, right? Give your balls a tug, you old man. Come on.
Oh, it's gone.
Dude, it was the funniest thing. And that's where it like dawned on me when I was looking at it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to skip all of his educational videos. I just want to go to his controversial. And they're all, again, in his car waiting to pick up his kid.
No, he's driving down the road.
He's literally just holding his phone like this. Down the road. And he's like, listen, sonar is going to destroy everything.
But from a content creation standpoint, he has figured it out, and he's probably at 100,000 subscribers on YouTube now. I mean, social media is education, entertainment, or big ass fish. That's the three things that people are going to come look at your channel for. And if you can blend all of them, or if you're really good at one of them, then, you know, that's the ticket that it's at. But you still you got to be able to bring new people in. And sometimes that means a little bit of clickbait. And sometimes that means you go off on a rant talking about some bullshit. But, you know, I mean, that's the content creation side of it, and finding who your niche is. And we've talked about this numerous times on this podcast. When people come on to your comment section and talk shit and tell you a dumbass and stuff like that, that's probably worth twice as much as somebody say, man, that's awesome, because your fans are going to then engage with that person and defend you and go to it. And before you know it, you know, there's 200 something comments because of the naysayers, because of the trolls. I got one on TikTok right now about fucking self-checkout at Walmart, and motherfuckers are still commenting on it. That bitch is a month old. I got more comments than I have likes on that video.
Haters make me famous.
Yeah.
I've learned two things from this last little talk. One, Paul will take every opportunity to talk about his self-checkout drama. He's been talking about it for a month now. And then two, I've decided I want to have Randy block it on, but Paul's not going to be there. And I just want me and Andrew, because Andrew looks so mad about that whole conversation. I'd like Andrew, just me and Andrew interviewing him about the modern thoughts of bass fishing.
It's a bad idea.
It's a real bad idea. You should definitely do it.
This is Bass and Brews podcast. Every idea we have ain't worth a shit.
You know,
we are here for the bad ideas.
You got us on.
I was thinking, like, our show is definitely a little rougher, right? But like, we're never gonna like embarrass a guest or like be a dickhead, right?
Only
but
Alex.
I was wondering if there's a way that we could like do a show, but like trick people to come on, and it's like
being punked.
Exactly, right? But just to be like controversial the whole time. So it'd be like bring on shit. I'm gonna mention it anyways. Fuck it. I know you guys are affiliated with them, right? But we bring on somebody from Strike King. And then we talk to him about how the Rage Tail isn't that proprietary. Like we just try to be as rude as possible the whole time.
Dude.
Like, see how long we can get this show to go. You know what I mean? Like, we bring the Googans on, and when we go, well, how does anybody even know about you? Like, just be a dickhead, like the whole time, and like see how far we could get with it.
So you guys are famous?
Right.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, John B. Can you do me a favor and just tell everybody who you are? I don't think anybody knows who you are.
I don't think any of my listeners know who you are. I know you're a small-time content creator. Yeah, like I wonder how, like, if we could get away with that.
Who was your first pro staff?
Right, we got to have Gerald Swindle on. Here we go, Gerald Swindle. I know you don't know a lot about jig fishing, so let me tell you a little bit about it.
Right.
Like,
Alex is like, G-Man, let me tell you something. I have been pitching a jig into a terracotta pot in my backyard for 2 weeks. Let me tell you about jig fishing, motherfucker.
listen,
Because y'all got to
Don't
follow
shit talk.
Alex to get that joke because he's been
don't
practicing.
shit talk. It's been cold
saw
as
it.
fuck. It's been cold as fuck. I don't have anything to do. I don't have a fucking job right now. I can't go fishing because it was like in between, like, you know, duties of like grocery shopping and bullshit. So I was casting jigs into a flower pot from the playground. That's
Dude,
all right.
It pays off. It absolutely pays off.
It
There's
does
like
because I
extra
think,
large National Geographics behind you.
what?
No, they're plain old boxes.
Oh, they
New
look
ones.
like National Geographics with a
I know, those are the plain old
Oh.
edge boxes, aren't they?
Yes.
Fucking this guy. He's
Why
on
would
the
I have
channel, he thinks he's
National
an angler.
Geographics behind me?
I don't know.
Well, you did put up a purple blanket behind you for 6 episodes.
Maybe
Trying
he's
to
got a
win.
thing for like Aboriginal women and their titties in the National Geographic. You never
Oh
know.
my
You got
God.
you got a deer
Dude.
back there. You got a skateboard.
Yes.
There's
Look, we're
yeah,
all
yeah.
old enough to remember the National Geographic books that everybody had bent the page in where all the boobies were.
Listen, it
All
was
the
between
movie scenes
National
were
Geo
been in.
and the Sears catalog. Those were money in my household.
All right, back to the content side. Back to the content side. So
I
y'all
gotta go
don't
grab
go
another
out-
beer and potty.
Good luck. Y'all don't
fall in.
plan a trip out. Do you ever go out and record a fishing trip and you don't get any bites, or you get bites and you miss them? And do you put that shit out? Do you show the shitty side of fishing when, because I haven't watched all of your videos. So are you putting out the shit where you're going out there and having a tough ass day, or are you just taking it home, hitting delete and going, we'll get it next week?
It's
Sometimes.
yeah, well, years ago, that always went up because we weren't as nearly consistent as we are now. But I was also a lot better on those really bad days about being able to like at least articulate what the hell it was trying to do and what I saw and just like explain it. Like I couldn't fucking connect the dots. This is what I saw. And I don't know. And there was at least some sort of lesson in those videos. And it wasn't every bad day, but like there was quite a few I was able to like articulate, okay, I learned something about this. And in hindsight, now at the end of the day, I should have fucking done that. Something like that. Nowadays, we're fortunate in that we rarely have a bad day like that. You know, like we've only I've skunked twice this year. It was
Wow.
a third.
No, I actually didn't. I thought I was
No.
going to say I skunked at that tournament, but I didn't. I actually caught one fish, and I slept half the day on the back of the boat.
Yeah, you were sick as hell. But even our
Hung-
first ice out trips
Hungover
this year,
sick.
no, just well,
was
it's we think it was RSV is running around up here in the
Oh,
Northeast like
shit.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because then like he was sick as hell, and then like a couple days after we got back, because we're all sharing an Airbnb together. Like I
Wow.
ended up having the same thing as him, and it lingered. My kids had it. Couldn't figure out what the fuck it was until I started asking around. My dad's
bad.
girlfriend
Thanks.
is
Thanks, Andrew.
I don't even want to elaborate really what she does, other than she understands all that shit exceptionally well.
Mhm.
Very, very knowledgeable and all that. And she was like, oh, well, I told her something. She's like, RSV right off the bat. And I was like, oh, it makes sense. I mean, she could have been wrong in all fairness, but I was like, no,
Yeah.
fuck. Like,
Yeah.
That's
looked
what
it
I
up, was
had.
like, God damn it, I think that's what everybody had. And it spread like wildfire around here. But at
Mhm.
any rate, so with
Actually,
that-
that was the last time I had a drink because I was so. Must have taken 8 showers in 2 days, just to hot showers. And the only thing that actually helped a lot was the showers and whiskey.
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
Hottie toddy.
But so anyway, like I had 2 skunks in the spring, the first 2 trips of the year. Andrew had dude, I don't think you've skunked once yet this year. You've had a couple of one fish days, but I don't think you've skunked yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, we're fortunate in that. Like, there's always at least some form of content that we rarely have to delete anything. I will say probably 2 of the 3 or 4 most recent videos where it's like the most recent one I just did, that back-to-back on the Demiki. That was a shit day, but like that little snippet was good. And I remember saying at the end of the day, like, when we have a bad day like that, I forget to elaborate on the things we're doing. That could have been a great Demiki rig tips video because I know what we're doing. It was a shit day. The lake shut off. We were out there fishing with a buddy that's been fishing there for like fucking 20 years, and he is a hammer. He caught 2 fish. So it wasn't just us. The lake shut off. And if I had pulled my head out of my ass and wasn't so butthurt about the fact I didn't catch a fish for like 6 hours we were out there, it could have made a great Demiki rig video. But as it was, I was like, well, that like 3-minute clip was pretty funny. We'll just make something from that. So it's rare we throw something like entirely out now.
We usually have at least 1 or 2 clips that'll save the day, so we can at least make some sort of short or something.
Yeah.
So on that brings up a good point, brings up a question for me. Do you think as y'all progressed in your content creation and fishing that and you said this earlier, you would have made a video about the Demiki bite and how you fished it and given those tips. Do you think the more y'all have created that content, it sounds like maybe you're starting to miss maybe those opportunities for the educational side of it, and you're just kind of tied into that catch?
Yeah.
When we're fishing, we're so focused on fishing and catching fish. Like, we don't even notice the cameras there anymore. It takes 5 minutes to set them up in the morning. It takes 5 minutes to tear them down at the end of the day. We're so focused on what we're doing to catch fish, not even necessarily to create content, but just to be out there fishing and catching fish.
And the camera's just running in the background, so it's just part of the boat now.
Yep, I've got them set up so that they can run. I think the audio recorders can go about 11 hours before the battery will die. The GoPros now are set up; they can run about 14 straight hours. Like we literally hit record and walk away, and that's it for the day. But that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to get better, and I've talked to Andrew about it 1,000 times. We in turn continue to talk about it. I'm trying to get better at like seizing those opportunities. I literally even said it on the drive up. I was like, dude, I've got 3 different video ideas we should totally record while we're out here today. And we just didn't, because video making is still second. Always has been. It's always been second to becoming better anglers. And if we can make a video from it and I can remember and it just flow, like everything comes naturally with the mood and everything, like that's when we make our best videos. But like if I'm fucking grumpy like I was Sunday because the lake shut off and I couldn't figure him out, I'm not in the mood to make a video. And I should be, because it's like, what the hell else am I going to do? I was out there for 6 hours, so we were a thumb up our ass. Like, we should have taken even a half an hour of the day. We could have made 2 really good videos that absolutely would have made sense. Like, not in that day, but it doesn't mean that information isn't still applicable for that time of the year.
Right.
So it's just, at this point now, it's more about like, I don't know, I guess discipline in the sense, like, if we really want to continue to take this to that next level and get content out on a regular basis, like, I should have maintained discipline in that moment and made a fucking video.
But
I don't know,
also,
man. I think hold on, Paul. I think that is refreshing, because I can see it in your videos that not every. So you can tell some YouTubers where you can tell when the day didn't go right and they had to make a fucking video, right? And I get it, because like that's their job at that point, or it's like supremely their side hustle, right? And and I get it, and there's the whole discipline thing, I guess, right? But when I watch your guys' videos, I can tell that you guys are there for the fish. You're not there, like the video is definitely secondary, which is refreshing, because like sometimes something's off or something like that, right? But you're still showing the whole thing, and those imperfections, what they show me as a viewer is that you give more of a fuck about catching that fish than making sure that everything's lined up properly to be the most pristine video, which in turn, I don't know, as an older person watching, I fucking dig that. Like, I don't need the quick catches. Like, I'm fucking 38. I'm not a child. I understand how fishing works. I understand, like, it's not going to be perfect. And when you guys see I don't know. When I see that, I think it's fucking awesome. I think those little imperfections actually add to kind of your whole overall theme.
Oh, it's real. We're nothing scripted.
Right.
Yeah.
Our podcast isn't or live stream, whatever the fuck it is, isn't scripted. Nothing we do is scripted, unless we have some sort of like an outline of where we kind of want to keep any short clip around. Like, other than that,
yeah, it's just those quick tip videos we do. We did recently we did the top 5 fall baits for smallmouth and largemouth. Like, those are scripted in the sense of like the top 5 videos. It's like, okay, we're going to talk about top 5 baits for smallmouth. These are my top 5. What are yours? Okay, well, these are my top 5. Okay, well, just fucking tell me what it is that you like about all 5, and I'll make a video from it. And it took us a while. But I mean, in all fairness, I've been doing this since 2009. So we made like 850 fucking videos on the gaming channel. So I have a lot more experience and practice doing this than Andrew does. So it comes to me more naturally. So it goes a little faster for me. But he's definitely improved, especially over the last fucking even like 6 months to the year. So it gets better and easier, but that's literally the extent of what we, I guess, plan on. You know, the quick tips videos, Demiki rig, like that was the plan, Demiki rig, and I probably talked for 20 minutes, and by the time I boiled it all down to like, you know, cut out all the fluff and shit I repeated, it was like 5 minutes, whatever it ended up being. That's how every video goes. It's just like I have a topic in mind, and it's specific to like, you know, what we've been fucking working this kind of situation for, Jesus Christ, sorry, for the last 3 years, and all of a sudden it fucking clicked. Like, you understand it. And, you know, and like, I want to talk about that, but like, that's the extent of what we actually plan.
No, I think that's perfect. And your last couple of videos, I will say, so you have the normal length of videos for a fishing video. You have a lot of those, and you can tell because those have been good days. But you can also tell like they've been tougher days as of late. Because some of your videos are only like 5 minutes long, 6 minutes long, right? But even as like so me as a viewer, a consumer of your content, I look at that and I go, man, motherfucker had to struggle to put this one on. I definitely want to see this, right? Like if, you know what I mean? Like a lot of guys are going to put out 20-minute videos no matter what it is. And it's full of fluff and everything in the middle. You guys cut right to it. You cut, I mean, I like it on some of them, right? Like if you're going to be a full storytelling and you're going to take me on a whole venture, I get that, right? But if you're going to spend 20 minutes telling me about how you're a pro staff for 14 fucking companies and you don't catch anything, I was trying to channel.
What's that do?
Like I literally was editing a video today, right? Like, again, this is all your guys' fault on getting me on these jigs. I fished on Sunday. I didn't catch a fucking fish, but I wanted to release this video. I sent a thing out and people wanted to see like the struggle. You know how fucking hard it is to fucking edit a video where you don't catch a fish? It fucking sucks. One, it's like just reliving the bullshit, but like cutting it down, it's a really short video because I didn't catch anything. I had 3 bites. You can see the bites. I talk a little bit, this and that, and then I realized I was watching some other bigger channels like, oh shit, they're struggling too. We had just as many bites, but their video is 20 fucking minutes. Like, why?
Well, they put it out. People see that's a 20-minute long video. They're like, oh, I'll watch it. And then they just get lost in the bullshit. And then at the end of it, they're like, what the fuck happened?
So, Paul, your question earlier about like, do we throw away footage? I'm streaming with the Sony A6400 or whatever it is. That's the camera that our subscribers bought for us from all the live stream shit we did. I think after like the first 20 something episodes we did,
man, what a fucking flex right there. Yeah.
But dude, the thing's fucking, it's sexy. It's a great camera, and we take it on the boat to like record with every once in a while.
Yeah.
That thing's a fucking curse because like the last 4 months, every time I've taken it out, I'm like, because like I think back to early John B videos, and I think to like every Polnick video. And I love what they like. And I haven't watched a John B video in years, but yeah, the B-roll is phenomenal, and like especially Polnick's videos, Kyle does a fucking incredible job at those.
Amazing.
I would love to do a video like that. Literally every fucking time I've tried to do it with this camera, and I'll be out there in the driveway, like I'm rigging shit up, I'm putting stuff in, I'm get the camera, I'm like, oh yeah, it's fucking sexy, the side of the boat, all the fucking rods, yeah, this is great. You know, like 20 minutes of B-roll, and it's the dog shittiest fucking day of fishing we've ever had every time. And it's like, I would love to be able to do one of those videos, but I fucking refuse to be misleading in anything I do because I don't have to. Like, as much as I would love for this whole thing to blow up and we can make this like a career,
We need
and
a third
that is the
person, too.
goal.
We need somebody that's going to film us. That's the only way you're going to get those shots. That's
Do
it.
you guys edit your own footage?
Yep, I do the vast majority of the editing. Andrew's done quite a few of the reels and stuff, but like any like the full length videos on the channel, those are the ones I do.
See, I find like even today, like I feel like if I had somebody else editing, it would have been a better video. But because I knew that I wasn't going to catch a fucking fish at all, like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes when you're editing it too, you're like, I didn't catch anything. Why am I doing this? Right? Like, and I know there is value to show that you're struggling, and that's, I guess, something people want to see. But in my head, I'm like, I don't fucking want to see that. Like, I put a video out. The video came out today, a couple hours ago. I haven't fucking checked the stats at all. I don't give a fuck, to be honest. Because I didn't catch a fucking fish.
We talked about this last week too, though. You're either putting content out that you enjoy and that you want to put out and you want to edit, and or you're putting out content that your viewers and your subscribers want to see.
Yeah.
And so, you know, which one are you doing? And there's only a small amount of people that I've watched and I follow that can do both. You know, the people that are putting out content because they don't give a shit if one person watches it. This is what they want to do. They want to put it out there and they have a good time with it. And then you have the other people that they're always striving to put out what's going to bring in those viewers for that. There's nothing wrong with either one of them, but understanding why you're putting the content out, I think, makes the expectations expectable.
I mean, if we put out a shit video where we don't catch anything and we're here to try and teach people and help people, if we don't put out a video that has anything to do with any of that, that's what our viewers are looking for. What's the fucking point of putting it out?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it in a nutshell. It's like, you know, back to using the fucking fancy camera for making videos and stuff. Like, it's got to be real. It's got to be timely, and it's got to make fucking sense. But more than anything, it's got to be real. Like, I would love to make a video with all that extra B-roll and make it fucking sexy. And there's been plenty of opportunities that we just pissed away, for lack of a way to put it, because that's really a poor way to represent that. But, like, I think back to our Champlain trip. We were out there for 4 days. We fucking hammered them. We fished 3 full days, and then for like 5 hours the last day we were there before we had to make a 3.5 hour drive back. We caught 220 something fish in 3.5 days.
And 102 of them in one day.
Yep. And it was, and that 102 fish day, we had 22 pounds on our best 5, anchored by a 4-pound, 12-ounce smallmouth that Andrew had caught. I think it was a hair over 21 pounds, actually.
And that was all on the Beast Coast minnow, right? That's the live minnow that they put out.
Oh, yeah.
Put them in there.
Yeah, the one full of weights.
Yeah. That would have been a fucking fantastic weekend to take advantage and do that. But again, filming has always come secondary, and it's something I'm trying to recondition myself to, like, okay, it's still secondary, but I'd like to put in a little bit more effort when the opportunity presents itself.
And the distraction of how many fucking fish we were just catching.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
just
dude,
like, we literally sat on
like
one
that,
spot for
like-
3 or 4 hours, and we pulled off 40, 50 fish, and like
That's
it
insane.
was back to back to back to back to back to back casts. Like, it was.
We had that dialed. We literally boiled it down to a 1-foot diameter circle. And like, we had the boat positioned just right. And if it wasn't right, even if I was off a foot, just to make it easier for us to hit that, I'd fucking unspot lock and park it back there. And we'd just take turns, like 2 or 3 casts at a time. And the moment one of us hit it, we're both just looking at each other like, yep, that's it. And it was automatic for almost 4 hours. Every fucking time you hit that 1-foot circle, you caught
There
a
was
fish.
so much
It was
current,
the dumbest
and there
thing I've
was
ever
so many
experienced.
fish moving in and out of there. It was.
That's educational right there, because you again, this goes back to the spot side. You can see somebody out there catching a damn fish on a spot from a YouTube video or out there fishing, and they can go to it and not catch it, through the same damn bait, because they are a foot off from the angle that cast needs to be at. You know,
Or they're
that's
using something even an eighth of an ounce too heavy.
that's
or too
right.
light.
Or were they using 8-pound test instead of 6-pound? Right, the intricacies that come into actually getting that fish to bite, not even reeling it into the boat, but getting the motherfucker to bite, because you can't catch a fish unless it bites. Well, I mean, I guess you can snag it, but
Mike
you
Long.
know, yeah. But that still comes down to the point that would have been very educational to be like, look, this is what they're biting, how they're biting it, and this is how we have to approach them, or it doesn't work.
That's true. Yeah,
All right,
instead of just
boys.
made a sexy montage.
I know,
But yeah, that
yeah.
would have been a great video to like you just said, break it down much more educationally.
I mean, you guys, I will loan Jabberhammer out. You guys just have to send me 5 Slim Jims, and Jabberhammer there will produce all your videos. He can't
Slim
edit.
Jims? No.
No,
Send
hold
the
on.
Vermont
Film.
beef jerky stuff.
No, hold on,
No,
hold
no
on.
beef.
I have
Duke's
I
teriyaki. You
I
got a deal.
actually-
You send it to us.
I was trying to be cheaper for you guys. Slim Jims are way cheaper. You have to pay me.
We have higher standards.
I have hours
haven't met
upon
Jabberhammer.
hours
You
of
don't even want to get into
video.
it. Snacks.
Easy
we're
now.
going
I'm
to.
fat as fuck.
We're gonna
Fat
get
as
into
fuck. Don't
snacks.
get me into no snack talk now.
Pretty
I bet I
shortly,
ate
we're
more
gonna
than
get
you.
into snacks.
I have hours of video of me actually catching fish that have never seen the light of any social media because I fucking hate everything after catching and recording. I hate that shit. And I put out some videos, but man, I hate that shit to no fucking end. I'm gonna start sending Alex on my shit and he's gonna
There it
produce
is.
it.
There it is.
There
He
you go.
says this every time. He goes, hey, because I have mentioned I like editing. I like doing that creative process. I dig doing that. And then fucking Paul goes like, well, listen, you don't have a fucking job anymore, so I'll just send you all this shit.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like,
just over there
stop.
reading his National Geographics.
Exactly.
No, he's not reading nothing. He's just flipping all the booby pages, all the book-eared pages with the titties on them. He's just looking for titties.
Tell you what,
I mean,
dude, 100 gigabyte on Google Drive is only fucking $2 a month. It's an easy way to drop footage to your buddy.
Oh, he's going to get it. I mean,
Hold
I
on.
caught some,
Fuck you.
I caught some damn
Fuck you,
big
Sean.
fish.
Don't fucking put this on me. Fuck you.
It's already been
Listen.
put on you.
You
It's
have to
already
deal
been
with
done.
him for an
You've already
hour and a
agreed
half.
to it.
And I got to deal with this hour and a half to 3 hours every week. And you want to fucking put hours more onto me?
But I will only be picking on you not in real time. So you can edit that shit out if you'd like.
That's true. Or you can make like just an absolute fucking grand slam of montage for just being like a dick. You put up this like the real
nothing but
Jabberhammer
cast.
behind the scenes, the
Yeah.
truth you never knew.
That's it right there. Wait, I can't even figure out where to
Picture on,
point.
his picture on the
Fucking
screen
kid.
is a big penis.
Yeah. He's gonna
That's
put out a
it.
20-minute video of cast montages and me getting hung up and me cussing because fucking shit's hung up and I
And
dropped
your
shit in the water.
squeaky Hobie drive.
Bitch, I got a motor now, so ain't nothing squeaking. But the miles per hours.
The only thing that's going to be squeaking
All two of 'em.
is that fucking wheelchair
Whoa, now.
that you're going to
I
have
pedal.
to roll in because the only exercise you got was from the pedal kayak. But now your fat ass
That's
is gonna get
okay.
huge.
I still will out pedal you for distance and speed. Don't 2 miles an hour. I pedal without anything tournament loaded. I pedal 4.5 miles an hour cruising speed, and I can make that 3 miles before I got to taper it down to 4. With
It's
the
like-
motor,
It's like
I can
Paul's-
pedal with the motor at the same time and get 5.1 miles per hour. Ain't nobody in my local clubs be outrunning me to no fucking where now.
It's
They
honestly
couldn't
like
before.
Paul is talking like he's the lead racer in the Pinto series of car racing, and nobody gives a fuck how fast you are or cares about it, Paul.
Not
24
It's like everybody's
Nope.
fantasy football team. Nobody cares, Paul.
Is your speed consistent though? Because you got that punter leg, so you're like really fast with one leg and a little slower with the other. So like,
No.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
ambidextrous. I'm ambidextrous. Both of my legs work really good. Matter of fact, my
Bitch, you can't
strong
spell
leg is my left
ambidextrous.
leg. AMBIXTROUS. Bitch. Ambidextrous. That's how we say it in the South.
Ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous.
I like him.
yep.
All
Man,
right,
that's the
boys.
nicest thing anybody said to me in like
Jesus.
2 weeks.
All right, we are getting to the time of the show. We're going to get to the most controversial part of the show. This is the only part that is quote unquote scripted. We're about ready to hit our shotgun round. But before we get there, because this round has legitimately sunk creators or elevated them to the highest heights that the world-renowned Bass and Brews podcast can do. So before we get there,
hold on, it actually hadn't elevated nobody, but it has sunk a few.
Sunk a few. Listen, as a world-renowned podcast, I just re-updated us today, so we're back. For some reason, it clicked over, but we're back to being the #1 podcast based out of the Panama Canal. We're also the only podcast based out of the Panama Canal, but that makes us international.
But it's not even
#1.
It's not even Panama though. It's just the fucking canal.
Just the canal. That's a real thing that you can do. We're the second biggest podcast in Antarctica. Fucking these scientists have some other one that's beating us out, but I'm gonna figure out how to sync
like
them.
Global warming, Al Gore and stuff.
Yeah. But before we get to the shotgun round, I want to give you two gentlemen an opportunity to shout out anybody you'd like to, any sponsors, people, fucking whoever you'd like to.
I'm putting Andrew in the spot. Go.
Mom,
Thanks for letting me stay in your basement and do these podcasts.
I don't live in my mom's basement.
You can tell that Sean is all done at Sean's house because Sean's on the right-hand side of the screen. Andrew's spot's got to be the other side, right?
He's
and then your background looks worse than both of ours at your mom's basement.
Mom, clean my room. What the fuck?
Mom, make some meatloaf.
What was the question?
Sponsors. Give shout outs to everybody.
Shout
Who
outs
you want to give a shout out to?
Everyone. All of YouTube, all of our followers, all of everybody. Everyone who follows us. Everyone who's ever been supportive of us. Fucking love you.
Damn right. They're #1.
Nice. There they are.
Second to that, I'll give a shout out to all the sponsors. First and foremost, Ben's Tackle Shack.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, Leicester, Mass. They're which, by the way, it's pronounced Leicester, but it doesn't look anything like
Looks
it's
like
spelled.
Leicester or something.
Leicester. Yeah, Leicester.
Oh,
Makes zero sense.
I have seen that before, and I always pronounce it Leicester.
Yep, and no, it's Leicester. I mean, in all fairness, I've lived in New England my entire life, and they're like fucking half the towns. I don't know how to pronounce them.
As long as it doesn't have a mole in the front of it, you'll be all right.
Oh, there's plenty of those up here. So, anyway, Ben's Tackle Shack, they're phenomenal. Located in Leicester, Mass. They're online too, benstackleshack.com. They've been a huge supporter of us, everything we do. Lou's Fishing is like our first major sponsor. We picked them up 4 years ago. Well, they picked us up. That was like a holy shit. We kind of feel like I made it a little bit moment when they picked us up. Yeah. And oddly enough, the reason we got found was because the VP of marketing at Lou's. I'll never forget that because I felt that was like very profound. And then, Jesus, Strike King, we got recently picked up by. They've been phenomenal. Waterland Optics, they picked us up recently. They've been great. Beast Coast Fishing, obviously, been with them several years. I wouldn't still be with them if I wasn't always using them. I literally have 6 Plano 3700s just dedicated to Beast Coast jigs. That's how many. Wow. I mean, we fish jigs a shit ton anyway. I have a jig for every freaking scenario you could imagine, and in almost every single color they make, and they've been phenomenal. Wicked Custom Rods, our buddy John, he's been great for us. FXR Pro Fish, they've been hugely helpful for us. Big Bass Streams, our newest sponsor. Oliver has been phenomenal. We got to fish with him up on Champlain earlier this year. Him and Riley, and they're seriously some of the most down-to-earth, nicest people I've ever met.
Like, seriously, like, very good people.
Yeah, and they love what we're doing. They believe in what we're doing. They like how we represent the Northeast, so they invited us on the team. I don't know if I ever really... Ego Fishing. I've been using their fucking net for like 7 or 8 years now. Different nets over the years, but God, dude, that telescoping net, the way it floats, like... Yeah, I literally haven't looked at any other net, and then all of a sudden they came calling like 2 years ago, like, hey man, Want to work with us? I'm like, fuck yeah. It's like, you're the only net I've ever bought.
Hold up. You said the way it floats. Does this mean your net be jumping out the boat a bunch?
No, so only one time. And I forget how it happened. This was like, dude, Andrew, you weren't even here yet. Like, this is how long ago this was. It was like when I first got the GoPro. Fuck, 8 years ago now. Yeah, no, 2014. 8 years ago. And we went up to one of these deep glacial lakes, and smallmouth spawn was on, so they're all up shallow, and it's gin clear. And I'm like, I'm going to get in the water. Fucking 59, 60-degree water, like surface temp. It was cold. And I'm like, I'm going to hold the GoPro in the water and film it. And somehow the net ended up in the water. Like, I remember going in, and my buddy's like, oh, that was you, me, and Josh that day?
Yeah, Josh almost lost his thumb.
I thought that was Casey. Okay, that was you. Yeah. And, like, it fell in the water, and then, like, I was like, holy shit, it floats. Cool. That's good to know. By the way, don't go in 60-degree water. That shit sucks.
I also don't think I've heard anybody shout out a net sponsorship. That's solid.
Yeah.
They make plenty of other stuff, but like, I mean, literally the only thing I care about, I care a lot about all their stuff. That like, we've got a pair of pliers from them that are good. We got a backpack. That thing is the shit. By the way, we've beaten the piss out of that thing, and it still is like perfect. But the net.
Does your mom did your mom put the backpack away? You can't find it.
Yeah, she packs me.
Nah, it's here. I got it because I borrowed it from you when I went up to Lake Ontario with TJ.
Well, hey, that's interesting about a floating net, and I interrupted you then because any of your gear that floats is really important in a kayak because if you flip, if it don't float, that bitch is gone. And then like me, I just have a lot of shit going on, and I'm fucking flailing all the time, and shit's going in the water all the time. So
or
I
you
mean,
could be like us and put the big boat under the water.
Oh shit!
We may have done
Y'all
that.
sunk a boat? Y'all sunk a boat?
We sunk it almost like a couple months ago. It was very close.
Yes.
Very close.
Yes.
It's real close.
That wasn't. We left that out of the video, didn't we? I don't think we told anybody about that.
No, and it was just because like it was funny and nothing bad happened.
It was
but
terrifying because I was driving.
Yeah, but I ended up keeping it out because that video ended up being like fucking 23 minutes long anyway. If I left that whole saga in, it was going to be over a half an hour, and the camera angle kind of sucked. Like the whole time, because the Skeeter, the rear hatch for like where the batteries and everything are, opens from the back of the boat to the front. And we're like, our heads were behind the whole time. So all you see is, from like our hips down. And it's like, fucking, buddy, how's the water looking back there? No, it's not too bad. It was like, you can't fucking use this. This is useless.
It was close.
It was real fucking close. Like, it didn't help when I got in the back of the boat to like assess because we're going and all of a sudden Andrew's like, feet flies up in the air. He's like, there's fucking water coming up through the boat. And I'm like, that's not good when that happens. Like that's a lot of water to reach like the middle floor drain to shoot up.
Holy
like we weren't
shit.
going super fast. It was probably
like
only
maybe 20.
Maybe 20, 25 miles an hour. And they were both sitting on the front of the boat because we were kind of just cruising up the shoreline real quick. And I let off the throttle a little bit. And then I noticed like my foot got wet. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I like let off fully. And then all of a sudden from the center drain, it just goes. Within like 4 seconds, I'm like up to my waist in water. I'm like,
holy shit.
We're in like 40 feet of water. I'm like, I'm going to the shore. I'm going to the shore. I'm going to the shore.
He goes to the shore. I jump fucking over everybody to the back of the boat, open it up. And at this point, the water is literally like 2 inches away from coming over the top of the rear gunnel. And I look inside, and it's like that high above the batteries, which is saying something in the back of a fucking bass boat. And I was like, I looked at my buddy John because I knew he had a pocket knife. I'm like, we had 2 like giant water balls. I'm like, cut the fucking tops on those right now. So quick rips them off, throws them. We were sitting there bailing, and then Andrew goes to the front of the boat to like try to help even out a little bit. Mind you, I'm fucking 240 something pounds. My buddy John's like 3 something, and
like
we're both in the back boat trying to bail. And I have all these like totes. I don't have one here that I put all my soft plastics in. I looked at Andrew. I'm like, fucking grab one of those and empty it right now. And he does. He just takes it, rips the top off, dumps it on the deck, and now I'm taking out like a gallon at a time. Like, okay, we're winning finally.
All right, two things. Who forgot the plug?
No, didn't forget the plug. This was like 6 hours after we got on the lake.
So what the hell? How did you get all that water in? And the second question is, you ain't got no bilge pumps?
Oh no, Bill's pump was running. It was just that much water, and it's only a 500 gallon per hour bilge pump. So it was like, I mean, it moves water, but it's not like, I mean, ideally I'd like to put 1,000-gallon pump in there.
What happened? Did you get a hole? Like, how did the water get in there?
I think it was backing up through the live well and overfilling and dumping.
That's our best guess. And that's the first time it's ever happened. But again, like, I mean, combined between me and my buddy John, that's over 500 pounds in the boat. And, you know, with a Skeeter, you got that
5 pounds in the boat.
You've got like that big step in the middle between the two consoles, right? And we were both sitting, you know, like kind of kitty cornered up there in front of the consoles because we were just moving like 1,000 feet. And I just said, Andrew, drive, because John and I were already up on the front deck. So it was easier for the three of us to position where we were. And he just had it trimmed it all the way down, and we're only doing about 20. So I think just the combination of the way we had the boat weighted, like just where it was dispersed, that exact angle on the trim and that exact speed was just fucking blowing water through the open live wells and filling the boat.
I'm like, they're on the front of the boat and we weren't planning out, and I was like, it's kind of fucking weird.
And it was like 10 seconds before the water came up. We were looking back and like looking at you and saying, dude, we're waking hard like a wake boat. And you look back and you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of fucked up, huh? And then 10 seconds later, up comes the water.
When we stopped, all the water came forward and had nowhere else to go, but out of the center,
fucking geyser.
Shit.
It's the Skeeter Old Faithful came up, and we knew we was fucked.
Listen, after all the badgering that Paul's done about short people, I feel like if we had maybe more short people than fat people in that boat, it wouldn't have happened.
This is true.
Or if we didn't run the trim all the way down.
I mean, Andrew, I was trying to. I'm trying to.
I know what you're trying to do, but I'm not.
I was trying to connect on the side there, but it's all right. You sabotaged us. I get it.
Next time, we make sure all the 6 foot plus squad is in the back of the boat, and then all the the under 6s, the hobbits as they were, on the front of the boat.
Yes.
Sorry, Andrew.
Hey, the Willis.
I was actually, when I said sinking the boat, I was actually talking about when we speared that wave.
Which time? Oh, wait, no. I did one with Josh and one with you. Yeah, spearing that wave sucked. Dude, the wall of water that hit us it was so hard and violent. I had a pair of Amphibia sunglasses on, and it's got this, like, giant rubber bridge, or, you know, rubber piece for the bridge of your nose. Like, I don't have any other sunglasses come close to the size of that rubber piece. And the water hit me so hard that it still cut the bridge of my nose from the sunglasses just getting punched into my face.
Holy shit.
I had a cut right across the bridge of my nose for like 3 weeks.
I mean, it was pretty. It was like blowing, like the wind forecast was way off. And I think it was like maybe 10 to 50 miles an hour in the forecast, and it was blowing 35, 40 sustained.
Yeah, but we fucking crushed smallmouth that day.
Damn. Unfortunately, we did get back to the boat launch, and there were a few people that did drown that day.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
So it was pretty bad.
We didn't fully understand how bad it was, and because we were still fishing an area that was downwind, but on a shorter stretch, it was still a couple miles of open water. But when you get back towards the ramp, now you've got like the full length of the lake. Now you've got like, I don't know, 8 or 9 miles of open water. No, I think that lake's actually only 7.5 miles long. So about like 5 to 6 miles of open water versus like the 2 to 3 miles we were on. And when we got out to the middle, we were like, oh, fuck, this is bad. Then we realized why we hadn't seen anybody out. Like, never mind even no bass boats, like hardly even any pleasure boaters.
That's gnarly.
And then I tried jumping in the dock and almost didn't make it.
Dude, fucking inch away, like full spread eagle, like.
That was.
So,
right,
so
boys.
any more sponsors after we went off on the tangent?
Nah, I think I got everybody.
Okay, all right.
All right. So this is the infamous shotgun round. Couple of rules to this. So we're going to ask you a series of questions. Each of you are going to answer them. There will be no bullshit of, well, maybe this or this. We want your off the cuff shotgunning a beer answer right away, or shotgunning some Canada Dry.
All right.
Wacky or Texas? Sean first.
Wacky.
Nice.
No, Texas. No, fuck Texas.
I'm
Fuck them kids and that wacky.
Fuck them kids.
Only reason I say wacky is because that shit has saved my ass too many fucking times in a tournament that I don't want to. I'd much prefer Texas, but if we're going by like off the cuff, like what's the best fucking thing to do? You better believe it's wacky rig.
All right, Andrew, Crocs or flops?
Crocs.
Yeah, I already knew that answer.
Sean?
Fuck out of here.
Flip flops all day.
Oh, get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here, Sean.
yeah,
You're done.
see.
You're off the
They
show
love it.
now.
Everyone else I know. I was
Yeah,
wearing
so-
Crocs when people still thought they were old women's shoes.
You know what all those holes are for in them, right? It's where your dignity can leak out.
Wait. Did you say you wore Crocs when people thought they were old women's shoes? So did you get them from that lady that you met?
It was a parting gift. You got a basket of brownies and fucking
Is
Crocs.
that
She gave me a gift card to Macy's, all right?
So that one I just wrote down. That's getting clipped out on the socials there. Andrew got his first Crocs from a elderly lover.
Sure.
Sean, do you spend more on a rod or a reel?
Real.
Andrew?
Yeah, real.
Yep.
I was
All
thinking
right,
about
answer.
that from like, what would I do or what have I done? That's why I hesitated. I was like, wait, no, it doesn't matter. It's always real regardless.
Real's
would've-
always more expensive.
I would have thought rods. I would have thought rods for y'all. It's surprising.
You can get by like a substandard rod with braid, and like that
Yeah.
makes up for a ton
Braid
of
fixes so much.
failures and flaws or just cheaper materials in a rod. But dude, if you have a shit casting reel, your life's fucking miserable
Yes,
all day, every day.
100%.
And
Especially in
I
the wind, like y'all fish in a lot.
yeah, dude, you need a good reel. And like, I learned that lesson the hard way when I first started like learning to use casting reels. I was like, yeah, I know everybody says this $120 Sitka is the way to go, but fuck, that's a lot of money. Well, I'll try the $60 one. Well, that sucked. I'll try this other $60 one. That
Yeah,
sucked. I'll
no.
try the $80 one. Nah, it still sucked. Fine, I'll fucking, now that I've spent $200, I'll buy the $120 one. Oh, what do you know? It fucking worked.
All right, Andrew.
From there.
You're on the way to the lake. Is it slow jams or is it hype music?
I mean, 90% of the time we're listening to some sort of screamo.
All right.
So
Same with you, Sean.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be loud, fast, and angry.
Time out. What the fuck is a screamo?
Screamo's the type of music, Paul. Shut the fuck up. This ain't your genre. You're
metal
from
with
North
Katy
Carolina. You're a hillbilly. You can go fuck off on this one. I know this answer, and I'm okay with it. I think it's a solid answer.
I was wanting to get educated. I didn't know what the fuck a screamo was.
It's
I thought
like-
that
it's
was.
it's like metal with skinny pants and
Yes.
Spot
nail
on.
polish and hair like this.
Oh, so emo. It's emo music.
No.
Yeah, but
It's
angry.
metal emo.
I mean,
Metal
it
emo.
sounds angry. It's not really angry because there's obviously still an emo element to it. But you know,
I got you.
we're sad, but we're emphatic about it.
I love it.
All right, who we at? Sean, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes, with some exceptions.
There's
Literally
no
one
exceptions.
pizza.
Nope, there's
Where's
no
my hat?
exceptions. You either gotta go with it, you either gotta die that hill or not.
If it's alone, no. I get literally. There's one pizza in the world that I've eaten that pineapple fucking makes it.
Yeah, with Canadian bacon.
Nope.
It's not bacon. It's fucking ham. It ain't
Right.
bacon.
There is a local pizza place that makes a pizza called the Twisted Hawaiian. It is pineapple, jalapeno, bacon, and oh crap! What the hell was the other thing they had on there?
It
Andrew,
doesn't
help me
matter.
out.
I'd
You've eaten
eat
it
it.
1,000 times.
Jeez.
Shut up.
Cheese. Fucking cheese. Writing that one down too.
I forget the last ingredient, but it's like, dude, it's perfect. It's that perfect blend of sweet, spicy, and fucking saltiness. All three of them together, and that pineapple just helps balance the whole shebang out.
That sounds like Andrew to a T from what I can figure out. Your description.
Salty?
QZ.
A little sweetness?
Salty,
Yeah,
sweetness. Andrew, what's your take on this one? Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Sure.
Sure. All right.
Understand that Andrew's like, if you saw what this man ate at every gas station on Sunday, he does appreciate really good food, but then again, what he mostly puts in his body is very questionable.
Trash, yeah.
Do you?
All right,
Is it
and
edible? Then yes.
Speaking of
So, hey.
consuming trash, Andrew, do
Wait,
you eat
I
largemouth?
am. Oh my God, Jesus! You won't let me finish
One at
my
a time,
statement.
damn it.
Never mind. Alex fucked
Correct.
it up. Go ahead with your
Correct.
question, Alex. No,
I'm the
it's too
host
late
of
now.
this.
It's
You're
too
the
late. Nope,
co-host, bitch.
it's too late.
Andrew,
Yes, sir.
largemouth. Do you eat them? Yes or no?
No.
Sean?
Nope.
Just
Don't have a problem in the world with anybody who does
You're
it.
from the South. You don't count.
Well, I do count because I eat them.
I know.
I
that's
am
why I said
making
you
the
don't count.
largemouth bass population better by eating those delicious fish, 6-pounders and up.
Can
Lay 'em out.
I flip the script on the shotgun round and ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you legitimately eat largemouth?
Yes, I love
Okay.
largemouth bass, but I grew up in
I
the
heard they're
South,
muddy.
and that's bitch. I could fillet a largemouth, a
He said,
catfish,
Bitch.
a crappie. There are only a few people that could tell the difference. I don't care what people say. It is a fish. It's a freshwater fish. It's delicious. It's fine. It's great.
I've never. I've never tried them before.
No,
So, I
me
don't
either.
know.
I have no fucking problem in the world that anybody eats them. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Do you eat them not deep fried?
I have, but I don't keep a ton of fish now because I live in a fucking townhome, and I've already pressing my luck
South,
with the
everything's
bullshit, bullshit I got around here. But
No,
yes,
I like where you're going with
mostly
that.
it's
I
fried.
like where you're going with
Mostly
that.
it's fried, and I'll fillet them or I'll just gut them and dehead them and cook the whole motherfucker because those fins, when you deep fry them, the fins are the tater chips.
Little chips.
So when you deep
Yep.
fry them, you eat all the fins first, and then you peel off the meat with that nice,
How do you eat the fins, Paul?
like a fucking
I saw
tater
it was like-
chip.
Let me see it. Let me see it, Paul. Come on, let me see. There it is. There it is.
And then
Do
I
it for
rub
the
it all in
gram,
my
Paul.
beard.
Do it for the gram.
That was the only reason I asked, because like I've never done it. I've only heard plenty of other people talk about it. But for people that do it up here, like anything you keep, like everybody's like, oh, dude, you got to like do it in the middle of the winter when they're at their coldest, they're their cleanest. There's like nothing in there you got to worry about, and then they taste their best too from being like really down to that cold water and sustained for a while. But everybody else and limited exposure, mind you, that talk about eating bass all the time, they always fucking deep fried. I'm like, motherfucker, like literally anything tastes good deep fried. That doesn't
Do you
make
eat-
Correct.
Do you eat pussy in the summer?
Well, speaking of that,
Any opportunity I get, yes.
speaking of that,
Sorry.
Sean, it's your turn. Have
ready.
you ever eaten beaver?
No, well, yeah.
Only in the winter.
Was that your answer? Only in the winter?
Andrew said only in the winter.
Yeah. How do you prepare in the winter, Andrew?
Usually with a really nice meal ahead of time, maybe a movie.
2 weeks in a row, I think we're talking about a different beaver.
We're talking about the wrong beaver.
No, I have not eaten beaver.
Is that because
Well-
you haven't left your parents' basement?
Look,
That's exactly why.
look, let me tell you something. We ain't deep frying beaver though. You come down here and eat beaver, it's gonna be barbecued like you would a hog.
True.
We ain't deep frying beaver now, so just FYI. You get it's
What
like
is-
pulled pork.
I'd fucking eat it. I don't give a
beaver's
shit.
beaver's like pulled pork.
Yeah,
It's a little bit darker, but yes, delicious.
gamier. Yep.
Alex, you don't know.
I've
Gamier.
had beaver, dickhead. We Andrew. You're fishing for 3 hours. Would you rather have 5 2-pounders or 1 7-pounder?
1.7.
Sean?
Mm.
Oh, 1-7.
Yeah, there it is. That's right.
And this coming from tournament guys.
No, we're not really tournament guys.
Don't
We fish them here and there.
Don't be a dream killer, damn it. Just go with it.
Next year.
All right. This is the most important question. It's going to start with Sean. This is what has This is really the one that sunk multiple accounts. I don't know if anybody's heard about this. Used to be a pretty big podcast, but now they're like garbage. They're called Serious Angler. Bailey runs that one. He was on our show. He answered this wrong. And I know, you guys are laughing because nobody knows who he is now because he answered this wrong. So I want to make sure that you guys are prepared for this one. Sean, you're going to start first. Every fisherman loves a good sandwich. What are your top 3 sandwich proteins?
Sandwich proteins. Top 3. It's going to be chicken, then turkey, then bacon.
Safe.
Perfect.
Safe.
Andrew, back to you.
Hold on. A bacon sandwich? A fucking BLT is not a sandwich.
No. I did not say that it was have to be on its own.
It's a protein. Yeah.
But it is a protein,
right, okay.
and it belongs in a sandwich.
Oh, he's stretching for it.
Oh, is that my turn?
It's your turn.
Yeah.
Chicken salad, ham salad, or turkey.
I like it. That
I
don't
don't.
hunt.
You got Alex really concerned over there.
Did you say ham salad?
Oh yeah, dude, so
The
good.
fuck is
Fucking
ham
gets
salad?
those like finger roll sandwiches, right? You know, it's like those little dinner rolls, and they come in a pack of 3 from the gas station. He'll fucking eat those at 4 in the morning. 180-mile drive to Lake Champlain. He's like, fuck yeah, breakfast, bud.
I thought
A large coffee and maybe like a bag of chips for breakfast, whatever.
I thought that you guys I had such good high hopes.
What,
And I know
eating, like,
technically
birch bark
ham-
or some shit.
No, I mean ham salad. I mean technically it's a protein, but I don't know if your old love mate taught you about ham salad. But I don't think anybody under 80 eats fucking ham salad.
I do. I'm an old soul.
No, you fucked an old soul.
Hey.
Is what I heard.
Hey,
Fuck the soul out of her.
I mean, all of them are better
Hey.
than, again, our viewers might not know, but this guy Bailey used to, I mean, he still does run this podcast. It's super small now because of his appearance on the show, but he said fucking spinach.
Oh, come the fuck on.
Popeye?
Exactly. And then way back to episode 3, we are on, I think this is episode 89 now. On episode 3, Delirious Angler from Instagram said cheese. Also, technically a protein.
Yeah,
Just
and a
like
great
ham-
protein at that, mind you,
But
but
just like
has
ham
protein,
salad
but it
is
ain't
a
a
protein.
protein.
You
it's
need
an
beef bread.
accessory, a protein
Hey,
accessory. And
Back
it,
to back
To me,
to
a
gas
sandwich is
station.
an accessory.
Yes. Back to gas station sandwiches. The best egg salad sandwich out there is the one
They throw
at the
away.
gas station in the little plastic container that you got to
Hold
peel
on.
it off. And you got to get the one where the egg has been pressed up against the cellophane
Yeah, because it
and
preserves
it's discolored a little bit. That means that egg salad on the outside is a little bit crunchy.
Mm.
I just
100%.
like that. Hold on, real quick. Andrew is like the one they threw away. You just admitted to eating fucking ham salad.
I did. I 100% did. I
Well,
made
boys,
it before.
it was so great to have you on, minus the
Hey.
ham salad.
Hey, Alex, I got one shout out. I got to
got?
make.
Yeah, what you got, brother?
I'm wearing the shirt. Take a warrior fishing.
I saw that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a warrior fishing. This was done back in November by Dwayne Urey here. A friend of mine. He does nautical excursions here in the Raleigh area. He put on this tournament. It was a great turnout. He's going to do it again next year, I think about the same time. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that because they had a big turnout, had some good, well, the fishing wasn't great, but they had a good time. And if you're in the Raleigh area, be looking out for it next year around that October, November timeframe because he's looking for boaters and kayakers to take out some of the warriors
Oh,
here
yeah.
in this area. And we're
Oh,
close
yeah.
to Fort Bragg, so we got a lot of military
it.
in this area.
You're
I dig it.
reminding
Hey,
me I have
boys.
an email from the same kind of group that they're looking to partner up with us next year, and I totally spaced responding to him. I need to get back to him.
Mm.
Yeah, you do. Otherwise, you hate the troops, so you need to get back to it.
I definitely don't. I mean, look at
no.
my fucking who I'm fishing
Yeah.
with.
Don't listen to
I
Alex.
said the troops. He was in the Navy.
Yeah,
Alex,
Alex.
Alex said
Alex,
this.
baby, fuck you.
Alex said that shit about me and put that shit out on
I
fucking
did.
TikTok, and
I
I'm like,
did. I
oh
put it on
my
TikTok. I put
god.
it on, Paul made fun of me for
No.
not being able to tie knots, and I basically turned it around to that he hated the troops.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
released the whole
Jeez.
clip on TikTok. But guys, hang out for a minute. And Brewskis, real quick. I know you guys have been upset. You guys don't like how I do like this cliffhanger ending. So we're gonna stop it. But here's what I need you guys to do. You know, everybody tells us we gotta do like a call of action. So I need all of you to
The
I
fuck?
fucked it up.